Welcome back once again, all of my low carb friends, and for those of you who are here for the first time, welcome. Today I have another simple, delicious keto recipe for you. Today we are going to make keto chocolate glazed donuts. These are super easy, and don't worry, we're not air frying them or deep frying, we are baking them. So you don't need any special equipment for that. And if you don't have donut molds, don't worry about it. I will show you how to make them without donut molds. And if you want a printable version of this recipe, you can check out my website at janetsdeliciouslowcarbkitchen.com. You can find a printable version of this recipe and other goodies there for you. And if you're new to the channel and you want to see lots of easy, delicious, low-carb keto recipes, make sure you click that subscribe button and click the notification bell that's right next to the subscribe button. That way you can be notified every time I put out videos every Wednesday and Saturday. And if you'd like to help support the channel, make sure you scroll down in the description of the video. You'll see some affiliate links. Anytime you purchase anything using those affiliate links, a small portion of your purchase will go to me and help support the channel. So while you do all that, let's get cooking. Preheat your oven to 400 degrees. Lightly spray 7 round donut molds with cooking spray. If you don't have any donut molds, just lightly spray about 8 muffin cups. This will make you mini donuts. It won't be the same size as the donut molds, but it will still work for you. Then set your pans aside for a minute. In a large mixing bowl, combine 70 grams or around 10 tablespoons of coconut flour, 11 grams or around 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder, 15 grams or around 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 67 grams or around 1/3 cup of the granulated sweetener of your choice. I'm using granulated Monkfruit sweetener. You can use whatever granulated sweetener you want. You can also adjust this more or less depending on how sweet you want your donuts. Keep in mind that these donuts contain cocoa powder, and cocoa powder can be very strong if you do not have the right amount of sweetener. And if you're sensitive to the coconut flour taste, you can also add some dry spices or dry seasonings of your choice. I'm using 3/4 teaspoon of cinnamon and a 1/2 teaspoon of ground nutmeg just to give my donuts a little bit of flavor. Sift or whisk the dry ingredients all together until everything is fully combined and there are no lumps in the dry ingredients. Add 3 large room temperature eggs. Make sure they are room temperature so they stir in more smooth. Stir the eggs into the dry ingredients until everything is fully combined and all the dry ingredients are moist. Add 45 milliliters or around 3 tablespoons of the room temperature milk of your choice. Make sure whatever milk you're using is room temperature. As I always say, room temperature ingredients combine more smooth, which makes for a more smooth, fluffy donut. Add 3 tablespoons of butter that's been melted and cooled. Stir the milk and the butter in until everything is fully combined. Add 61 grams or around 1/4 cup of room temperature plain yogurt or sour cream. Again, make sure this is room temperature. And 2 grams or around 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. You can change or adjust the extract more or less depending on how much of a vanilla taste you want in your donuts. Stir everything together until it's fully combined and you have a smooth, moist dough that is formed. Scrape down the sides of the bowl and push the dough to the center of the bowl. Then shape the dough into a smooth ball. Massage the dough ball in your hands just for about 20-30 seconds. This is just to make sure that you have the right texture in your dough. Your dough should be holding together well. It's going to be a moist dough, but it should not be sticking to your fingers. If it's sticking to your fingers, then you need to add just small amounts of coconut flour until it is no longer sticking to your fingers. Once you have the right texture of dough, then form your dough back into a ball. Place it back into your mixing bowl and allow the dough to sit uncovered at room temperature for about 5 minutes. This is just going to help absorb any extra moisture. As I said, this is a moist dough, so you do want to let it set to absorb any excess moisture. After 5 minutes, divide the dough evenly among the prepared donut molds or the muffin cups. It's roughly about a 1/4 cup of dough for each of the donut molds. If you're using the muffin cups, you probably want to cut it down to around 3 to 3.5 tablespoons of dough. That way your donuts won't be. Use your fingers or the back of a tablespoon and press the dough evenly throughout the donut molds. If you're using the muffin cups, then roll around 3 to 3.5 tablespoons of the dough into a smooth ball. Make sure it is smooth. Then place the ball into the center of your muffin cup. Flatten the tops of the ball. Then use your finger and poke it through the center of the ball to create a hole all the way through. Then wiggle your finger around a bit. This is just going to help stretch the hole open so that after it's done baking, the hole won't close up on you. Make sure whether you're using the donut molds or the muffin cup method, make sure that your dough always stays smooth. If your dough is not smooth, after it's baked, it will be cracked and you run the risk of your donut crumbling on you. Once you have your donuts shaped, place them in your preheated oven and bake at 400 degrees for around 15 to 18 minutes or until the tops are firm and a tester comes out clean. If you're using the muffin cup method, then I would check them at about 12 minutes. Remember, the muffin cup method is going to make a smaller donut than a traditional donut mold would. Once the donuts are all baked, remove them from the oven. Allow them to cool in their molds for around 20 to 30 minutes or until they're firm enough to remove without crumbling on you. After 20-30 minutes and the donuts have firmed up a bit, transfer them to a wire rack and allow them to cool completely. Once they are cooled completely, you can eat them as they are without putting any glaze or anything on top. But of course, for me, I like the glaze, so we're going to glaze them. Once you're ready to glaze your donuts, place a piece of parchment paper under the cooling rack that has your donuts on it, and then set it aside for just a minute. In a medium wide bowl, sift together 75 grams or around 3/4 cup of the powdered sweetener of your choice. I'm using powdered Monkfruit allulose blend. You can use whatever powdered sweetener you want. And 14 grams or around 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. Sift or use a fork and stir these all together until everything is fully combined and there are no lumps in the sweetener blend. Whisk in 15 grams or around 1 tablespoon of the room temperature milk of your choice. Then continue whisking and add 4 grams or around 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. At first, when you're whisking this, it might seem like it's not coming together, but keep whisking and it will start coming together. It will be a little bit thick. Then gradually add very small amounts of the milk of your choice until the glaze is smooth and able to pour. Now you can make this glaze as thick or as thin as you want to. Basically, the main thing that you're looking for is for it to be completely smooth and that it's able to drip off a spoon easily. I added around 8 more grams or about a 1/2 tablespoon. Once the glaze is smooth and you have it the texture that you want, take your cool donuts one at a time and dip just the tops of the donuts into the glaze until the top is fully coated. Once the top of the donut is fully glazed, place it back onto your wire rack. If you want to, you can immediately top it with some extra toppings like some chopped nuts or flaked coconut or sprinkles. Once the donuts are all glazed, and if you want extra topping on them, you have the topping of your choice on them. Place them back onto your wire rack and allow them to sit for about 5 minutes so that the glaze can firm up a little bit. After 5 minutes, you can eat the donuts immediately. If you do have any leftovers, store them in an airtight container at room temperature for up to 3 days, or in an airtight container in your refrigerator for up to 5 days. Eat and enjoy. And that's our recipe of the day. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you want to see more videos like this, make sure you click that thumbs up like button, click that subscribe button, leave me a comment if you want to. Let me know if there's any recipes that you'd like to learn how to make, and I'll do what I can to get those out there for you. And as always, keep cooking.